Well, hi there, everybody. Welcome back to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton. This is the fun free-for-all. It's the deep dive version of the free-for-all. Malissa Longo is here, of course, wearing her family shirt. It's the Sisko family, or is it the Ferengi family?
Ferengi family.
Let me
I need
pull
to
that.
get a Sisko family one.
Yeah, you do.
For the Sisko day.
Look at those. Love it.
Nice.
My is, wait a second, that's a misnomer. My is live in New York.
Big Apple.
Not in Tokyo today. Scott Jensen is also here, the evil one, Guldu Scott Jensen. He's the least evil one ever, though, honestly. Faith Howell is here. She totally agrees. Eve England is here. She disagrees. And Jason Oken is like, leave me out of this.
I'm strawberry.
Oh, everybody at home, remember how before we stopped recording, we predicted that Jason Oken, if he were a Starburst flavor, he would obviously be strawberry. He confirmed that. It wasn't when we were recording, sadly, but he said, I'm totally strawberry, bro.
Ryan was right.
It's true. It actually happened. Okay, so what we're going to do is back in 2019, in May of 2019, we reviewed this episode. I say review because we hardly actually talked about this episode because we had a special guest named Armin Shimmerman who joined us. And so we mostly talked about him in general on the show. But there were a couple things to bring up, and we'll have Mr. ARON EISENBERG start off the conversation here. Malissa, you chose this clip, and I'll pull it up. And we'll watch for a second. Grab your popcorn.
In this recent episode was how you end up in ops. And it made sense that you end up in ops. And the reason that we would never see you in ops is, as you once told me when I joined Starfleet, and I was terrified I was going to be off the show, you said to me, you're going to work more because now you're part of the solution. And I didn't really quite understand that. But now, looking back, I completely understand it. And I love that, and I'm assuming that you don't really end up in ops very often in the 7 years. But when I was watching Voyager, and forgive me, Voyager fans, in the second episode, Neelix is sitting on the bridge. And I'm like, you're not part of the solution, Neelix. How are you on the bridge? Doesn't make sense to me. And
Well, that's interesting. I forgot that he threw major shade on Voyager. But Melissa, can you start us off on this? What made you pick that clip?
Well, one, because it was the only conversation about the actual episode. But two, I liked what ARON was saying about being part of the solution. And I love that in storytelling, where they find ways to make different characters part of the solution of the story. And I have to agree with him about Neelix being on the bridge, or you never see Keiko on the bridge or in ops, because that's not where she's part of the solution. Yes, she's part of the solution in the classroom for her students, but not in ops. So I think that's a wonderful way to approach storytelling, is who's part of the solution and why does it make sense for you to be here or not be here. And Quark, it made sense for him to be in ops in this episode because he was part of the solution, begrudgingly or not begrudgingly. he kind of enjoyed it, but especially when he's beaming Odo out.
Energizing.
He had so much pleasure in that moment. But yeah, so that's why I really liked that, what he said in that clip, for those reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. But I was enjoying somebody's bird in their background. That was really nice. Somebody had a nice bird chirping, had a lot to say. What do you guys think? What do you think about Quark being there and the dichotomy there with Neelix? Do you think Neelix did not fit on the bridge? in those early episodes. Oh, Eve doesn't know. She doesn't. She's never seen Voyager, right?
Yeah,
No, I do kind of agree.
we have no idea.
He wasn't my favorite.
I love Neelix, but I always felt like he was a little weird and out of place on the bridge too.
Yeah.
But
Even in the very beginning.
I really liked Quark in Ops though, and somehow it's like it proved that Quark was part of us. He's on our side. When it comes down to it, he's going to play for our team and help us out. So that this to me started the love affair with Quark and how he's like the hero of the whole show, of the station anyway. So
He always struck me as like the older brother who doesn't want to play with the younger siblings, the younger brother's kids, friends, and so forth. So he knew much more than he let on. Whereas Neelix, he brought to Voyager his own spaceship knowledge, but he wasn't really part of it. He didn't know the crew, he didn't know humans and whatever else. But Quark always seemed to have the advantage on everybody. So him jumping in and helping out made a lot of sense, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Well,
plus, because I thought he would have been infected, but maybe it's his biology. They didn't really explain.
Yeah, he
A
did
strong
say
immune
that.
system.
He did say that Ferengis have a strong immune system, so
Okay,
that's why he wasn't as affected.
so then
But
that
not-
means Rom and Nog too would be good.
Right.
Rom and Noodle.
Wow.
I just got that one. That was terrible.
It's a slow burn.
Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
I think that one
who's
gave me
Noodle?
indigestion just saying that stupid thing.
These slow heartburn. Oh,
Uh,
man.
well, let's right this ship. So, Melissa, can you tell us what Aaron's observation was that you remember him saying? You don't remember where he was or any of the details of that. It wasn't during the recording, but can you tell us his thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, no, I think if I remember correctly, it was an interesting episode. He just had a bit of a nitpick with Kira kidnapping the Bajoran medical guy, and then her not having any consequences that followed that. He did, when they were in the runabout, say not Aaron, but the character said that he would see Kira in jail, basically, and Kira was like, "That's fine, but we're trying to save lives here." So yeah, and I can see where Aaron was coming from. There's no consequences for her, but it also was a desperate situation.
It was really interesting, moral thing, wasn't it, I guess, because she
Yeah.
didn't know he could fix it. So she was basically giving him a death sentence
This is
on
true.
the hope that he might be able to help. So yeah, I thought that was quite dark, but I thought that was a really interesting thing to throw in when they were in that situation.
It's certainly something that perhaps at that time no other Star Trek show could get away with. I mean, can you see that happening in the Next Generation? I mean, it's certainly, the story itself, if you look at the story, maybe that's something they could have pulled off in terms of the virus and everything else. So there's nothing unusual about that. That part of a resolution is certainly not something that would be, I mean, you can't see any character or any Starfleet character doing something like that.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that is terrible. I didn't even notice that not only that she gave the guy a death sentence, we get that, but yeah, what if he actually couldn't help? What if he was like, "No, I was being serious. I don't know." And she's like, "Oh, whatever. I'm going to die anyway. What do I care?" Like, that's it.
You wouldn't be able to tell on her if he was dead too. So
Yeah.
Well, this is true.
there you go.
But she would be dead too, so
Yeah, so nobody gets in trouble. Kira
Yeah.
makes decisions like that. She's been making decisions like that since she could walk. So I don't think that was anything for her.
I mean, it did seem
I-
character.
I think they could have gone more into her laying a guilt trip on this Dr. Cermak and what the other guy did as far as planting this device, this biological weapon. It could have been more pressure that she puts on him by saying he was going to be found responsible for killing all of these people because they planted that device. and there could have been some interplay there where she has to face some of the consequences of her own extreme actions that she would take, is the same as the Bajoran rebels taking an extreme action in this case. And she would have to face some of the reality that those extreme actions have unintended consequences, much like the DS9 crew being killed by this kind of a device. So there would be have a reflection there on what measure is appropriate in order to exact retaliation or revenge against, the Cardassians or whatnot. So I think there could have been some more introspect, and her having to confront a fellow, rebel and put them on the spot, like, these are my friends and you're going to be responsible. That blood's on your hand. Make him kind of volunteer as opposed to kidnap.
Something we forgot. Jake Sisko guesses the IMDb score. Unless you remember it from
no. Yeah, no.
No guessing.
Time has no meaning after 2019.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this was like a 7.2, 7.2.
Somewhere between 7.2 and
Dikembe
7.2.
Mutombo's height. What'd you say, Mai?
Somewhere between 7.2 and 7.2.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
In my house.
You know him. That's right. That's Dikembe.
Yeah.
So
anybody
cute.
else? It is a 7.0. Very close. Very close. Now, somebody was credited with story by. There were a couple people, one of whom was Sally Caves. Here's a bit of trivia for you. She's credited with a story by for 2 Star Trek episodes. This is one. Which character is she credited as creating? She created a well-known Star Trek character.
Guess. Can I have a guess?
Yeah.
First, the clue. Is it an alien character?
No.
So a human character.
Was that a clue?
Jake Sisko?
His no.
No.
No. Was that a clue?
No.
Okay, so a human character.
It reminded me of Picard. So
I'll give you a hint. This character was in, a good amount of episodes and at least one movie.
Eddington. No. The movie.
Barkley.
Yep.
Wow.
Broccoli. Reginald Barkley. So the other episode that she's credited in writing is what's the episode? Hollow Pursuits, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Hollow Pursuits.
Yeah, Hollow Pursuits in 1990, and she created the character of Barkley. Anyway, very interesting little tidbit. I believe our friend Anne-Marie Siegel sent that one in as we were researching Sally Caves. So hopefully we could get Sally Caves next year when we are doing that Next Generation episode. That would be really cool. All right. Well, let's take a break, and we will come back to talk about all of the things that we hadn't noticed before until this viewing. We'll be right back on the 7th rule.